Akira is a woman of contradictions. By day, she was the dutiful choir mistress of an evergreen evangelical church. Her melodious voice soaring through the rafters during Sunday services. Whenever she sings, the congregation revered her, calling her sister Akira with utmost respect. She dresses flawlessly, her Bible clutching tightly in her hand, and her ability to lead the choir with divine fervor made her the epitome of piety. But as the church bells faded into the night, Akira's life takes a darker turn. Hidden from the eyes of the congregation, she ran an underground escort business, recruiting young women from disadvantaged backgrounds. They knew her as Mema D, a name that whispers in the city's dimly lit streets. Akira had perfected the art of living two lives, keeping her secrets well hidden behind her angelic facade that no one in the church could suspect that their beloved choir mistress is the mastermind behind a flourishing ashawo business. One fateful evening, when Akira was coming back from church, she came across Oliver, a 20-year-old girl with dreams of becoming a nurse. Oliver had come to Lagos to escape the suffocating poverty of her hometown. But as the weeks turned into months, Oliver's dreams began to wither under the harsh realities of urban life. Akira found Oliver sitting on the steps of a closed pharmacy, her face streaked with tears. "My dear, why are you crying?" Akira asked. Her voice soft and motherly. Oliver looked up, hesitant. I have no money for school fees. I don't even have enough to eat." Akira's heart twisted, not out of compassion, but opportunity. She sat beside Oliver, placing a comforting hand on her shoulder. "You're a beautiful girl," Akira said. "I can help you. There's a way you can make money quickly enough to pay for your education and more." Oliver's eyes widened. "How?" Akira smiled. "All you need to do is trust me." Oliver, desperate for money, followed her to her house, believing she is a devout person judging by her modest attire. The girls Akira recruited came from different backgrounds, but they all shared a common thread: desperation. She kept them in a small rented flat in Ireland, a place no one would think to associate with her choir mistress persona. One evening, Akira gathered the girls in the cramped living room. Oliver sat nervously among them, fidgeting with the hem of her dress. Sandra, the more experienced girl, leaned back in her chair, her face calm but watchful. Akira clapped her hands sharply, commanding attention. "Ladies, focus. We have serious work tonight." She held up a bag and began pulling out revealing outfits, tight dresses, short skirts, high heels. "This one now for you," she said, tossing a glittering red dress to Oliver. Oliver looked at the dress with hesitation. "Madam, is this dress not too short?" Akira raised a brow and laughed. "Short? Now wetting the men day like. You want wear Mary Amaka go meet client. My dear, you go learn say packaging now the work." Sandra smirked and whispered to Oliver, "Better wear before Madam D vex." Akira continued handing out clothes and gave each girl specific instructions. "Sandra, your client now one ogre for oil company. E get money, but e like make person day pamper Call daddy, rub him head small, and you go collect better tip." Sandra nodded knowingly. "No warala, Madam D. Daddy go enjoy himself tonight." Turning to Oliver, Akira's tone softened. Oliver, your client now first timer. E go shy small, but e go come around. Just smile plenty, laugh for wetting no funny, and day ask if e day okay. Men like that day easy to handle. But a beg, no go day form holy for there." Oliver swallowed nervously. "Okay, madam." Satisfied, Akira concluded her briefing with a warning. "No forget our number one rule, no day carry warala follow body. Always collect your money, up front. If a client start nonsense, call me. I no want hear story." The girls chorused in agreement, "Yes, Madam D." Later that night, Akira pulled Oliver aside for some one-on-one training. They stood in front of a mirror in the flat, with Akira demonstrating the basics of ashawo charm. "See, Oliver," Akira began, gesturing at her reflection. "You no be ordinary girl again. You be commodity. Now wetting you fit give them na him them day pay for. So you gats sabai act." Oliver frowned. "Act how, Madam D?" "Like this," Akira said, adjusting her posture to stand straighter, her hips slightly tilted. When you see client, no day dull yourself. Smile, touch 'em small for him shoulder or hand. And talk soft. You gats carry confidence like say you be queen. Oliver hesitated but mimicked Akira's movements awkwardly. Akira clicked her tongue in disapproval. No be like that. Relax your body. Men know like when girl day stiff. Day use your eyes day talk. Make 'em feel say nar only him day this world. Akira then leaned closer, her tone conspiratorial. And beg, no day fall for any man's story. If them promise you heaven and earth, just day laugh. Your own NA cash. No money, no love. You hear? Oliver nodded, her nerves still visible. I hear, Madam D. Akira sighed, patting her shoulder. You go learn. By the time you do this work for 1 week, you go know everything. Oliver's nights became a blur of unfamiliar men. Hotel rooms, and the sound of heels clicking on tiled floors. Each night, she dressed in the outfits Akira provided, her hesitations slowly giving way to the allure of fast money. But the emptiness inside her grew with every transaction. The reality of the ashawo life was far from glamorous, and for a long time, she found herself torn between her ambition to make money quickly and the guilt that gnawed at her conscience. But as the weeks wore on, Oliver fell into the rhythm of the business. Akira's influence over her was absolute. She taught her how to behave, how to allure, and how to conceal her emotions. You are an actress, Akira would tell her. You must wear a mask every night, and the world will never know who you truly are. Oliver's nights were no longer filled with dreams of nursing school. Instead, they became a dim of unfamiliar men, hotel rooms, and stolen moments of pleasure that had no meaning beyond the money exchanged. Each man was a fleeting figure, his touch temporary, and his presence just another transaction. Akira continued as always her role as choir mistress, delivering sermons during choir practice about the importance of being holy and pure. She often sang solos that brought the congregation to tears, her voice an embodiment of devotion. No one could reconcile this angelic figure with the shadowy world she operated in. It wasn't long before Oliver met Sandra, another girl recruited by Akira. Sandra had been in the business for longer than Oliver. She was older, more hardened by the lifestyle, but had also learned to survive in it. Sandra had been promised a better life, but unlike Oliver, she had fully embraced the duality of her existence. She had become numb to the pain of the job and focused solely on the money it brought. Sandra noticed Oliver's hesitations early on, the way she fidgeted before meeting clients, her eyes filled with doubt. At first, Sandra didn't know how to approach her. She was used to keeping her emotions locked away, keeping a safe distance from the others. But after a few days of seeing Oliver's discomfort, Sandra decided to talk to her. Listen, Sandra said one evening as they waited for clients, sitting on the edge of the bed in a hotel room. If you keep thinking about what you're doing, you're never going to make it in this business. Oliver glanced at her, surprised by the bluntness. What do you mean? You can't think about it too much. You have to do what you came here for, money, nothing else. These men don't care about you, they only care about what they want, and they're willing to pay for it. You've got to give them what they want and move on. Oliver bit her lip, torn between the advice Sandra offered and the shame she felt. I don't know if I can. It doesn't feel right. Sandra sighed. It's not right, girl. None of this is. But you can't change it. You just have to survive. We all need to survive. From that moment on, Sandra and Oliver formed a bond, a fragile but necessary connection. While they didn't share the same level of emotional attachment to their work, there was an understanding between them, a shared recognition of the emptiness that the job brought. They would talk at night, after the men had left, about their dreams and regrets. Oliver would tell Sandra about her hopes of becoming a nurse, about how she had wanted to help people and escape the poverty of her village. Sandra would listen quietly, her own dreams long buried beneath the weight of her choices. You think you can get out? Sandra asked. I hope so, Oliver replied, though I'm not sure how. As Oliver continued to work with Akira's network, the nights blurred together. She was sent out to different hotels, different locations, always meeting new men. Some were kind, others cruel. Some just wanted to talk, while others saw her as nothing more than an object to be used. It didn't matter. Oliver had learned to shut off her feelings, to become detached. She played her part, always charming, always agreeable, until the job was done. Her relationship with Sandra deepened as the two grew closer in their shared misery. One evening, as they prepared for the night, Sandra watched Oliver struggle to put on a confident face. She sighed and pulled her aside. "Listen, girl," Sandra began, her tone firm but not unkind. "These men, they'll try to mess with your head. Some want more than your body, they want power over you." Oliver frowned. "What do I do?" "You don't give them that power," Sandra said. "Smile when you need to, act like you care, but never let them get in here." She tapped her temple. "And never, ever get attached. They're just business." Oliver nodded slowly, trying to absorb the advice. Though she hated this life, she couldn't deny Sandra's words were keeping her afloat. But the deeper they both sank into this life, the harder it became to imagine escape. Sandra had already resigned herself to the fact that she would never leave. She had learned to find comfort in the money and the status that came with her position. But Oliver still clung to the hope of returning to her dreams. That same night, after a long shift, Sandra sat on the edge of the bed, counting her money with a blank look in her eyes. "This is all I want, Oliver," she said softly. "The money, the power, it's enough." Oliver sat across from her, staring out the window. "I can't just give up," she replied, her voice filled with quiet desperation. "I still want to go back, to nursing school, to something better." Sandra shook her head, her face hardened by time. "You'll see, one day, you'll stop wanting that. It's easier this way." But Oliver didn't answer. She couldn't. The hope of escape was all she had left. One night, Akira arranged for Oliver to meet Chief Olaimi, a high-paying client. Despite Oliver's initial reluctance, Akira persuaded her. "This now opportunity we fit change your life," she said. "Oliver, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity," Akira told her. "Do whatever he asks, and your life will change forever." Oliver hesitated but eventually agreed, trusting Akira's guidance. On her way she felt unease with this particular client, but Akira's words keep echoing in her head. "This now opportunity we fit change your life." And she said to herself, "I'll do it, I really need this money." Oliver entered Chief Olaimi's mansion, her stomach twisting with unease. The grand marble floors and glittering chandeliers did little to comfort her as a steward silently led her through a long, dimly lit corridor. When the doors opened, she saw the chief sitting in a large leather chair, a drink in one hand and a cigar in the other. He studied her with piercing eyes that made her skin crawl. "You're the one Akira sent?" he asked, his voice cold and sharp. "Yes, sir," Oliver replied, forcing a nervous smile. The chief rose slowly and circled her like a predator. "You're pretty," he said, "but tonight, I want something different." Oliver frowned. "Sir, I was told to entertain you." The chief smirked darkly. "And you will." He clapped his hands, and two large men entered the room, carrying a black robe. "Put this on," the chief ordered. "What's this for?" Oliver asked, panic rising in her voice. "Don't ask questions," he snapped. "Just do it." Trembling, Oliver obeyed. The chief gestured for her to follow him into another room, lit only by flickering candles. In the center was a stone altar surrounded by strange symbols. Fear gripped Oliver as she tried to back away, but the two men grabbed her arms, forcing her toward the altar. "Please, let me go," she begged, tears streaming down her face. The chief began chanting in a language she didn't understand, his voice echoing ominously. Oliver screamed, but her cries were swallowed by the chilling darkness of the room. In her final moments, Oliver realized how her desperation to make quick money had led her to this horrifying end. She regretted ever trusting Akira, whose sweet promises of a better life had been nothing but a cruel lie. Her dreams of becoming a nurse and helping her family felt so far away now, replaced by the heavy weight of regret. As the chief's chants echoed around her, tears streamed down her face, and she whispered a final prayer, wishing she had chosen a different path. When Oliver failed to show up the next day, Akira grew uneasy. She contacted Chief Olaimi, but he denied ever meeting Oliver. Days turned into weeks, and Oliver's disappearance became a mystery. Days turned into weeks, and Oliver's disappearance remained a haunting mystery. Sandra, who had grown close to Oliver, was devastated. While Akira brushed it off, telling herself Oliver might have run to escape the pressures of life, Sandra's instincts told her otherwise. She began asking questions among the other girls and digging into Chief Olayemi's reputation. What she discovered chilled her to the core. Chief Olayemi was not just a wealthy businessman, he was involved in occult practices rumored to require human sacrifices. Whispered tales of missing young women surrounded his name, but his wealth and influence kept anyone from investigating. The girls in Akira's network began sharing unsettling stories of their encounters with the chief, his strange requests, his insistence on absolute secrecy, and the eerie aura surrounding his mansion. Sandra decided she couldn't stay silent any longer. Sandra gathered what little evidence she could: the last text messages Oliver sent, details of her assignment to Chief Olayemi, and testimonies from people around with courage born from desperation. She walked into a police station and demanded to speak with an investigator. The officer on duty, skeptical at first, listened to Sandra's story. She described how Oliver had been sent to the chief's mansion and never returned, and how Akira dismissed her concerns. Though reluctant, the officer agreed to launch a discreet investigation. The police began monitoring Chief Olayemi, collecting evidence through surveillance and informants. What they uncovered confirmed Sandra's fears. The chief was part of a powerful secret society that performed rituals believed to bring wealth and power. These rituals often required the life force of young women, and Oliver had been his latest victim. Further investigation revealed that Oliver had been drugged and taken to a hidden chamber in the chief's mansion. There, she was subjected to a horrifying ritual, her life taken as an offering to the chief's twisted beliefs. With this evidence, the police raided Chief Olayemi's mansion. They found the grim remnants of his practices, blood-stained altars, ceremonial artifacts, and even videos documenting his rituals. Among the evidence was a recording of the night Oliver disappeared, which confirmed her tragic fate. The raid made national headlines, shaking Lagos to its core. Chief Olayemi's arrest exposed the dark underbelly of the elite and their unholy practices. One Sunday morning, just as Akira was about to lead the choir in a powerful hymn, the church doors burst open. Police officers stormed in, their presence silencing the congregation. "Mrs. Akira Adebayo, you are under arrest," the lead officer announced. The congregation gasped. People murmured in disbelief as Akira, still in her choir robe gown, was handcuffed and led out of the church. Her secret life had been exposed, and the community she had deceived turned their backs on her. In prison, Akira's life took a grim turn. Stripped of her influence and reputation, she faced the harsh reality of her actions. Oliver's death weighed heavily on her conscience, and the betrayal of her congregation haunted her. Akira began to question her choices, wondering if redemption was possible. She spent her days writing letters of apology to the women she had exploited and praying for forgiveness. But the weight of her sins felt insurmountable. I hope you enjoyed the tale. If so, please like the video, share it with your family and friends, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell for more captivating stories like this. Goodbye.